You're welcome back to Politics HQ and News Central Television. Legislative politics is in full swing. As early reports have indicated, there may be plans of an impeachment of current Senate President Godswill Akpabio just over 3 months after his emergence. Akpabio, a two-term former governor of Akwa State and former minister of Niger Delta Affairs, has denied the claims of an impeachment against him, describing the story as malicious and untrue. But senators from the North claim otherwise and are suggesting more reaching events, including a deliberate sponsorship of an impeachment story by the Senate. Today on Politics HQ, I have Senator Elisha Abbo, lawmaker representing Adamawa North Federal Constituency and a member of the Northern Senators Forum, to weigh in on current issues at the National Assembly and allegations made against the Senate President. Distinguished Senator Elisha Abbo, a warm welcome to you and thanks for joining us in Politics HQ tonight.
Oh, good evening.
Now, Senator Abbo, can you provide us with an analysis of the internal dynamics within the Senate that may have contributed to the reported speculations about the impeachment of Senate President Godswill Akpabio when you resumed from recess? What's the true nature of the story and what do you make of this?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, at no point has any senator or senators come together to discuss the impeachment of the president of the Senate. However, there has been various meetings across senators from north to south and across all the political parties in the National Assembly about what we feel is not right in the Senate. But those meetings that have been held, which I will tell you some of the issues that have been discussed, that is very, very disturbing to the Senate and the Nigerians that we represent in the National Assembly. First of all, the story about impeaching the president of the Senate was deliberately planted by the loyalists of Senator Akpabio, who is the president of the Senate. It never came from the northern senators. As they quoted saying, senators of northern extraction, and they even go ahead to mention Senator Abdulaziz Yari from Zamfara, Senator Tambol from Sokoto, Senator Mohammed Onahu from Nasarawa, and they were dropping names of senators, all of them of northern extraction. There was never a meeting. And it is also disturbing that they went ahead to say that the meeting was taking place in Saudi Arabia, the holy land of the Muslim faithfuls, that they went to Saudi Arabia to hold a meeting on how they will impeach Senate President. I felt that was very, very wrong. They planted those news so that they can cover what we are trying to raise the moment we resume. And I will mention these 3 to 4 points that must be addressed by the Senate on our return.
Now, Senator Abbo, because we're we're fast running out of time, I would like to get as much from this interview as possible. Now, could you elaborate on the concerns raised by some senators who perceive the Senate President, Mr. Akpabio, as a rubber stamp for the presidency? You were a member of the 9th Assembly. You are a member of the 10th Assembly. There's speculations that the current 10th Senate is acting on an ask and you shall be given basis in its relationship with the executive. What specific decisions or actions fuel those concerns? And is it true that, you know, the Senate might just be a rubber stamp for the executive? They get everything they ask the Senate for.
Well, I cannot actually, because we have just been there for less than 2 months. But all the ingredients of being a rubber stamp is already showing. All the ingredients that make a legislator a rubber stamp is there. Let me tell you one instance, which of course, part of the things that we have discussed. In December 2022, the former president sent a supplementary budget to the National Assembly 2022 supplementary budget of about 800 billion naira. The purpose of that supplementary budget was to address the flood problems that have swept all over the country in the rainy season of 2022. So roads were washed up, schools were destroyed, farmlands were submerged. So there was a supplementary budget to address some of those things. But then there was a change in government. When the government came, they felt that that was not their priority. So they sent a supplementary budget for amendment to the Senate. And we were in the plenary sitting. Midway into the plenary, the leader of the Senate, who was not in the plenary from the beginning, walked into the chamber carrying a paper in his hand. And he went and met the Senate president and whispered into his ears and gave him the paper. Few minutes later, I saw a paper being distributed. And I discovered that it was actually an order paper that was supplemented, was revised, and was sent to the Senate. And when we went through, I discovered that there is another additional agenda on the order paper of the Senate. That was the amendment of 2022 supplementary budget. And that supplementary budget, the first reading, second reading, third reading, and the passing of the budget was done the same day. It is
I mean, which shouldn't be so, distinguished senator, and it does affect the functions of the Senate. Its effective oversight functions. Now, finally, because of want of time, I would like to pose this question to you. I do remember that in the ministerial screening, Mr. Akpabio did address you and say, you know, he used the language, tolerate, that we tolerate you on this floor and things like that. How would you describe the Senate President Godswill Akpabio's leadership style? We do know it's just 2 months since the inauguration of the 10th Assembly. What's your assessment of his leadership of the 10th Senate so far from a personal perspective?
The question of a Senate President saying that he tolerates his staff, or I mean, tolerates his colleague in the Senate as if he's talking to his staff, it was unpleasant. But I didn't take it off because I know how he talks. Sometimes he talks anyhow. So when you realize that somebody talks anyhow, you don't put it on him as a crime when he talks that, because that's the way he talks. You were here when he went on the live television to say that he sent money into the various accounts of the senators. And later he said it was not money that he said, that what he sent was actually prayers into our email addresses. He has become a reverend father and an imam. So I don't actually take it as anything when he says he tolerates me. He's a senator like me. I even got more votes than he got. I represent my people. All senators are equal. So when he say I tolerate you, I think he said that one. Let me make excuses for him. He said that one for lack of words. But I deeply in my heart, I don't feel as if he was insulting me.
Okay, Senator Abbo, I'm sure you've been enjoying your recess and you've been to your constituency in Adamawa North. Now, looking ahead to the Senate reconvening on September 26, could you outline specific legislative priorities and key issues that you believe and some of the personal projects you are embarking on that should be tackled during the upcoming session to advance the betterment of your constituents and also Nigerians in general? You have less than a minute, please.
Yes. I don't know how to put that one in less than a minute, but as we stand today, since I assume the mantle of the leadership of my place and my position as senator, we have succeeded in bringing in very serious projects to my place, projects that can outlive me. For example, one of the first airports in Nigeria, that is the movie airport, which was actually destroyed and people encroached on it and even built houses and etc. on the tarmac. Currently, we are building a new airport in Mubi. We also brought in a federal medical center, which of course...
Now collectively speaking, for the 10th Senate, what policies will better Nigerians?
This Senate, we are yet to set up our legislative agenda. In the ninth assembly, we sat down and we come up with a legislative agenda. But this Senate, which I'm a member of and a part of, I'm not yet on legislative agenda. When we resume, we'll bring this question to fore so that we can discuss the legislative agenda of the 10th Assembly.
Unfortunately, distinguished Senator Elisha Abbo, we have to go, and I'm looking forward to a part 2 of this conversation. If we have to come to Abuja, we will to have this conversation. Thank you so much for your time, distinguished Senator Elisha Abbo, lawmaker representing Adamawa North Senatorial District and member of the Northern Senators Forum. It was an absolute pleasure having you tonight in Politics HQ. I'm Gbenga Aborowa. Thanks for being a part of today's program. See you next time in Politics HQ. Bye-bye.